around until the end because I got something for you. Today we're going to talk about wholesaling real estate. So if you or one of your friends, or you have 3 of your friends, share this video with 3 of your friends, come on in here, ask your questions, get them answered, and everything else right now. Time is now. Time is short. So we're going to be talking about wholesaling real estate and what that means. So, okay, so I'm not going to be able to do Facebook today. I'll be killing you with this. Hold on, people. Hold on. All right, I'm going to do this a different way. Today we're talking about wholesaling real estate. So grab your pens, grab your papers. We're not going to be needing calculators, even though there's a lot of math normally when we do wholesale real estate, but we're not going to need that today because I'm going to be here long enough to give you that much math. Okay. Now, one thing's for sure, 2 things for certain. We're definitely out here trying to get into spaces that we need to be in. So grab your pens, grab your papers. We are going to be talking about wholesaling real estate. So if some of your friends need to know exactly where it is, how it is, what you need to do, how you need to do, or whatever it is you want to do, I need you all to get into here, get in the room, grab your pens and papers so that we can get you out here in these wholesaling real estate without coming out your pocket. That's the main thing that y'all need to know. Because a lot of y'all be like, what? I could do that? Yep. Free of charge. Without coming out your pocket, without doing all this extra stuff. So let's talk about it, be about it, figure it out. If you have any questions, if this is your first time, don't let it be your last. We've been here before. Thank you so much for always coming back. I appreciate you. Love and like you a lot. Let's get into it. So I'm having technical difficulties. Facebook, come over to Instagram or go over to YouTube, or even TikTok. I'm on TikTok tonight too. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, Instagram and LinkedIn, and Facebook is giving me a problem. So let's get into it because I don't have a lot of time to be fighting with this. I really don't. Okay, my name is Lisa Robinson. I am y'all favorite around the way real estate diva. And the reason for it is because I've been out here in these real estate streets, slutting it up for the past 27 years. If you get into it because I'm slutting it up, okay, and what you gonna do, whoop me? I doubt it. So this is what we're doing. Slutting it up is just a term I use because I do a little bit of everything in real estate. That's why we say slutting it up, okay? Now, the reason why I have been wholesaling now for 8 years. Now I've been in the real estate streets for 27 years. I didn't start wholesaling until like 8 years ago. I didn't even know what it was until 8 years ago. So that's why when I tell y'all I'm doing it, I'm doing it. Now I've had months where I've wholesaled and I've made $200,000 in a month. I've had months where I've made nothing. I've made $750 on the deal. I've made $50,000 on the deal. It depends on the deal and what you're doing and how you're doing it and what you need to do to make it work. So as I always tell you guys, if I say anything, housekeeping rule number 1, if I say anything that you do not understand, your job is to ask a question. So if I say something you don't understand it, put the question in the comments. I'll do my best to answer it. Other than that, let's get into it. Wholesaling real estate, what is it? Wholesaling real estate is a process of securing a property under contract and assigning that contract to another person for profit. Okay, so Miss Susie down the street calls me up, hey Lisa, I want to sell my house. I said, okay, Miss Susie, how much you want for it? She's like, oh, it needs a lot of work, so 50,000. Okay, 50. I go to John, my buyer, who's on my buyer's list. Hey, John, I got a house. Give me 75. He says, let me take a look. He goes, he takes a look at it. I can't give you 75, but I can give you 65. I say, okay. And Miss Susie gets her 50,000. John pays 65,000. Susie gets her 50 and all her closing costs paid. The lease is to 15,000. So if I have the 15,000, then that's my profit. I made 15,000 on the deal. That's how that works. Okay. Now, when I tell you that's how wholesaling works, I'm assigning that property to John. I bought it from Miss Susie. I assign it to John. Just turn it off. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Now, you are the middle person. You're the person in the middle in this deal. You don't own the property. You control the rights to purchase it, though. So that's what wholesale real estate is. You own nothing, but you control the transaction. So you control what happens to this property. Now, when we use wholesaling, wholesaling real estate is used by new investors who need cash. So if you need money, and I'm gonna tell you this, it's not just new investors who need cash for other real estate deals. One of my very first clients, she wasn't my first, but she was one of my very first clients, was a young lady in New Jersey. She wholesaled a property. She wholesaled one property because she heard she could get the money needed to open up her hair store from wholesale real estate. She needed $10,000. Her first wholesale deal, she made $25,000. Guess what? She didn't wholesale nothing else. But she took that $10,000 and invested in her hair business. Now she got a very successful online store. Okay. Hi Kim. Hi Sonia. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate you. So if you need quick cash, now this helps a distressed homeowner sell quickly. Wholesaling real estate allows a distressed homeowner to sell quickly. Let's talk about distress for a minute, because we talked about this last week. I know your girl took a long holiday weekend. We talked about this last week. You do not have to, it doesn't just needing work doesn't make it distressed. That's not the only way you can distress properties. Distress needs work. Distress is people getting divorced. Distress is people in foreclosure. Distress is people who have passed away. Distress is I can't afford to get the renovations done on this property, so I want to get rid of it, or I owe more than it's worth, or that's all distressed properties. So I want you to keep that definition in your head. It helps cash buyers find off-market deals without doing the legwork. So in other words, you do the legwork. Yeah, just turn it off. I said turn it off. You do the legwork for an investor. So you got somebody on your buyer's list, they flip houses. So if they're flipping houses and they say, hey, I know a house flip, you, the wholesaler, go out and find more houses for them to flip. You become their acquisitions person. So anytime they need something, they need to acquire property, you become their acquisitions person. So that's how that works as well. Now, the other thing is, let's see, this is not working. Hold on, make sure. Okay. Now, so that's one thing too. So we're doing it that way. Then who does wholesaling benefit? Where is the benefit besides you getting paid? Okay, for the sellers, there's three main benefits for the sellers. You don't have to pay an agent's commission. That's number one. You don't get you get a fast close, and you can get an as-is sale. You don't need to make repairs. And that's the major thing that a lot of homeowners, when they want to sell, or a lot of investors, when they want to sell their properties, they don't want to put work into it. They just want to get rid of it. So that's what they do. So fast closings, no agent commissions, and as-is sales. Now, how is it a benefit for the buyer? The end buyer, not you, the wholesaler who went under contract to purchase, the end buyer. The end buyer gets discounted off-market property. You're going to get a discounted off-market property. There's less competition when the property is off-market versus when it's listed with a real estate agent. There's less competition, and you get ready to close deals, meaning most of the time, it doesn't take long for these deals to close. Exhibit A. I submitted a contract on Monday to my title company in Wisconsin. We already have the title commitment. We already have the inspection schedule. We already have the appraisal schedule. Everything is done. We're ready to close as of next week. We can technically close next week. Y'all hear me say that? Next week. So literally in about 7 days, we'll be ready to close. But we gotta get the owner moving and get him out of there because he's a nasty little thing. Just junk and clutter everywhere, and it just gives me anxiety every time I see this house. Okay, now the pros and cons of wholesaling. Wholesaling real estate is what new investors do to get cash. The pros: no credit necessary. You do not need credit. You do not need your own cash. You do not need to own the property. You don't need to fix it up. Those are the pros. The cons: legal issues. If you do not do a wholesale deal correctly, you can end up in some hot water. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you this: once you choose your market, you need to choose your market, and you also need to, you need to choose your market. And you also need to make sure that you know the rules and regulations for the said market. Okay. You need to know those regulations for that market so you can avoid any legal issues that may come up if your deal is not done correctly. Number two, con: requires marketing and negotiation. So if you're lazy, don't get into wholesale real estate. I'm gonna say it again because a lot of y'all didn't hear me. I heard me say my client made $25,000. I had another client who made $50,000. I have another client who made $100,000 on one of her deals. You cannot be lazy. You cannot be lazy in wholesale real estate. That is not how this works. You can't be lazy in real estate, period. Unless you have a portfolio. Thank you, Lisa, for the likes. I appreciate you. You cannot be lazy. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be out here. So if you're going to be lazy, don't get into wholesaling. That's why I tell people the first thing I have my people do is map their time. And what we call mapping time is map your time for 3 days. We're going to fit wholesaling into this. That's what we need you to do. That's what we need you to do. Okay. So when I say map your time, that's what I mean. It requires negotiation. You can't be afraid to talk to people if you want to wholesale real estate. That is not how this works. You have to be able to discuss, have a conversation, know how to do things, know how to negotiate. We can teach you how to negotiate. That's not a problem. I will teach you all the things that your people on YouTube and your people on Instagram and your people on Facebook, little rules, do's, and no rules that I tell you. They don't teach you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the dirty. They don't teach you all that. They got you thinking you could just get out here in the first deal you close, you're gonna make $30,000, and that's not how this works. Can it happen? Yes. Likely it's going to happen. Nothing. Okay. So stop being out here pretending. I'm telling you, I'm not fake. I'm not phony. I'm gonna be a joke, but I'm not gonna tell you a lie. This is serious business. When you wholesale real estate, you can make a lot of money. You do it correctly. If you do it according to the rules and regulations of the market that you choose, you can be very successful wholesaling real estate. And you can take that money and buy your first rental property or do your first flip or get your first 2, 3, 4 Airbnbs, depending on how much money you make. You do a lot of things with the wholesaling money, but you need to know how to do this correctly. You can't be lazy. You got to negotiate. You can't be soft. Every time I hear somebody say, oh, I'm scared to make phone calls, all I hear is I'm scared to make money. Because how else are you going to make money? Yeah, you can send somebody a text message. I've closed deals through text message before. But guess what? I also know that a lot of people are still addicted to having a conversation with you to discuss business. So all of you who are afraid to talk to people, stop it, because you're losing money by being afraid to talk to somebody. And you are relying on finding an end buyer. So you are relying on someone else. And another thing we do in our coaching is I will teach you exactly how to build your buyer's list. So you always have somebody that's ready to purchase from you. I will teach you to build a business where people seek you out instead of you constantly having to be on the hamster wheel, as we call it, the little hamster wheel. I don't know what I'm talking about. And you can get fun. You can get your own deals. People come to you like, hey, can you sell me this house? Hey, I hear you have houses. Do you have anything? People will want to be on your buyers list because they know you through and through, and you know what you're talking about. And we will teach you that. Okay. Now, the process of wholesaling. I'm going to tell you what mostly everybody else is going to tell you to do. Dirt bikes going down the street, people. I'm so sorry. I'm going to tell you mostly every guru, and no guru on social media streets will tell you to do, and then I'm going to tell you what I do. They're going to tell you to find a motivated seller. Then they're going to say evaluate the property, get the property under contract, find you a cash buyer. Mind you, I said find a cash buyer. And then they're going to assign the contract, close the deal. Those are the steps. Those are the 6 steps to closing a wholesale deal. Well, I don't do that. I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, I don't find motivated sellers. I find motivated buyers that are actively looking to purchase properties. I let those people tell me what they want, and then I go find it. Because why? Once I find it, I ask you what you're looking for, where you're looking for it, what you want to pay for it, when are you ready to close on it, and you give me all this information and I go and find it for you, you're going to close. Right or wrong? I mean, it makes sense. If it makes sense to you, give me a heart emoji in the chat if it makes sense for you. And like tonight, hey YouTube, how y'all doing over there? If it makes sense to you, drop a heart emoji for me. Okay? You know, a heart emoji. And that's what I do. I build my buyers list first because the buyers have the money. What good is a house? You get a house under contract and nobody wants it. What good is that? So I build my buyers list first. I let my buyers tell me what they're looking for, and then I go out and buy it. I go out and find it. When I build a buyers list, I have a list of 125 buyers on my buyers list right now. They're nationwide. And when I get a property under contract, I send it right to them. If you see me posting properties on my social media, that's because my buyers list didn't want it. Because my buyers list gets first crack at it. I text them the property information and when we're going to show it. I email them property information when they're going to show it. And if it's a buyer that I know is on my A list, like they're buying and they're constantly buying, I will pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, guess what? I got a property that fits your portfolio. Are you still actively buying? Tell me what you got. Tell them what they got. And sometimes that property doesn't even make the email list if I know it fits the buy box of one of my buyers. So I always build a buyer's list first, and I encourage you to build a buyer's list first because the buyers have the money. You can't close a deal without money. So the buyers have that money. That's what we're doing. Okay. So that's what I do. Now, all of these can be everything I talked to you guys about last week. Last week we went over subject to. We talked about tax deeds, tax liens. We talked about lease options and seller finance. Y'all remember all that? If you don't, go over to Instagram and check it out because under the realestate.diva, at the realestate.diva on Instagram, and you will see all those videos there if you want to get into them before I take them down because I don't leave them up all the time. Now, can you wholesale all of those things? Those are creative finance strategies. Those are creative ways to build a portfolio. Can you, as a person who wholesale those properties? Yes. I'm doing it right now in Alabama. I have a seller finance deal that's open to anybody who wants it. And I'm wholesaling it. I have it under contract for a certain amount and for a price. And I have it, and you can take over my position in that contract for a fee. You sure can. So that's what we do. That's what we mean when we say seller financing. Now, when I tell you my process is to find a buyer, build a buyer's list first, I've built my buyers list from social media. I built my buyers list from RIA meetings. I built my buyers list from ads on Google and YouTube. I build my buyers list from listing other properties in marketplace. Because if I tell you I have a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home in Madison, Wisconsin, and I post it on Facebook Marketplace, or I post it on Zillow, and I get all of these people that call me and say, hey, I'm interested, I'm interested, I'm interested. What does that tell you? That means I need to find another house in Madison, Wisconsin. And trust me, I did. I ran a whole nother list, and I'm ready to get moving on the next one already. So I have all these new cash buyers, and that's another thing. You don't have to have cash buyers. You can wholesale deals that need a loan, that require a hard money loan, a mortgage loan, a personal loan. You can do that. You don't have to have a property does not have to have just the just cash. It doesn't always have to be a cash buyer. Cash is cool, but you can make a lot more money too you can make a lot of money with loans too. Trust me, you can. I do it all the time. My deal that we're working on, I did a deal. It seemed like every deal I've done so far in Wisconsin has been a mortgage or has been a hard money loan. So hard money lenders, as long as the number works, they're going to give you the money that you're asking for, as long as the numbers work. Okay. Now, vacant homes, when they say find motivated sellers, vacant homes are usually motivated to sell. Foreclosures, probates, and the proverbial tired landlord. And right after COVID, and that whole year and almost a year and a half, when in some states it went a year and a half where you couldn't get rent money from these people. Oh yeah, guess what? They definitely went. And a lot of landlords started saying, look, I'm tired of this crap and I don't want no parts of it. And they started selling off their portfolios. Okay. Evaluate the property. That means get the comps, run the numbers, analytics, get the property under contract, use your purchase agreement, getting property, finding a buyer and assigning it. You need an assignment contract. Take notes. I hope y'all taking these notes. Close the deal. Now, where can you find wholesale deals? Simple. You can find wholesale deals just riding around your neighborhood, driving around in your neighborhood, all over the place, all over your neighborhood. Okay, all over the neighborhood, all over. Hey, Steve, how you doing? All over the neighborhood. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is a gold mine, especially if you're trying to do creative finance strategies. Gold mine. Tax delinquent list, code violations list. Bandit signs, I hate them, but you see them all over the place. People love bandit signs. I can't stand them. Pre-foreclosure leads, you can get those you can get those from Zillow. You can get foreclosure lists from services like PropWire, PropStream, and Property Reach, and batch leads and stuff like that. And just word of mouth referrals. Like I told you, a lot of people come to me based on the previous relationship we had, based on what we're doing next week and next year. I sold their cousin's house, so now hey, this girl could sell your house real quick. Here you go. So that's it. Now, some main terms that you need to know. When you're wholesaling real estate, you need to know what ARV stands for. And it's after repair value. This is what is a house going to be worth after you fix it up. So once it's flipped. You also need to know MAO, max allowable offer. What is the most you as a wholesaler can offer the homeowner, the seller? Okay. So that's another one. EMD, earnest money deposit. This is the deposit you put down and you put into escrow. It goes into an escrow account. So we either go to the title company, go to the broker, or go to the attorney. And they have to keep that money into the escrow account until two things happen. Either one, the terms of the contract fall through, or B, it closes. Then they release the money. Then they can release the money. Okay. Assignable contract. That's your assignment contract, a contract you can transfer to another buyer. End buyer. The investor that you're going to sell this property to is your end buyer. That is an end person. And then double close. Now, a double close is where you use 2 purchase agreements instead of 1 purchase agreement and 1 assignment contract. Okay? Now, we done talked about some of the paperwork that needs to be in here. Okay, wholesalers, listen to me. Listen to me. And listen to me well. Listen to me clearly. Wholesalers, you do not have to double close every deal. Your buyers know that they're paying you a profit. I've been paid $25,000. I've been paid $50,000 by my consistent buyers. They don't care as long as numbers fit their, as long as the deal works for them, they don't care how much money you're getting paid. They really don't. If they care about how much money you're getting paid, that means they don't really have the money that they're telling you they have. That's just it. So you will need some documentation. Make sure your documentation is filled out correctly. Make sure you fill it out correctly. Make sure you get it reviewed by an attorney before you give it to someone. Make sure you are in compliance with all the documentation and paperwork that you're going to need. A purchase and sale agreement is an agreement between the homeowner, the seller, and the wholesaler. An assignment contract is between the assignee, the assigner, which is the wholesaler, to the end buyer. Okay? A buyer information sheet. This is a form that you fill out for all your buyers. You ask them the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how of how we pay you, so you know where their money is coming from. A seller's disclosure. It's optional, but it's good practice. A lot of states require it. So you need to find out if your market that you're going to choose to be wholesaling in requires you to have a disclosure. What is a seller's disclosure? In some states, it's called a seller's disclosure. They disclose all the things wrong with the property. In New York, it's called a property condition disclosure. So it's the same thing, just different terminology. A HUD-1 or an ALTA, that's your closing statement. So why use an attorney versus a title company? In some states, you can just close with a title company. Wisconsin, okay? In some states, you're required to have an attorney. New York, all right? So that's why we have to have it that way. So you ensure clean title, no liens, no surprises, no encumbrances, no mechanics liens, no tax liens, no mortgage liens. They get all that cleared up. Assignment, they and then handle funds securely, because the attorney gets the EMD. The attorney will disperse your assignment fee. You need to make sure you have a wire authorization form for your business already filled out, so you can sit whatever title company or attorney that needs to pay you out at the end of this deal. And the reason why you want it wired, because you get your money same day instead of waiting for a check in the mail. Just saying. Because I can't remember the last time I picked up a check or sat at the closing table with a check. I just don't. It's not my business. I don't want to know what everybody else making. It does nothing but piss off the real estate agent if I'm wholesaling a house that's on the market. It does nothing but piss off the real estate agent if I'm sitting there. And I'll give you a perfect example. I wholesaled a house that was on the market. The real estate agent got a $1,500 commission. I walked away with a $1,000 assignment fee. Just saying. Okay. Now, you're going to draft and record any legal paperwork. That's why you need title companies or attorneys, and they're going to protect you from liability. Meaning, if anything goes wrong, the attorneys pretty much take over the liability of this, because, and the title companies, because they review your paperwork to make sure it's legit. Okay. Now, other things, other creative financing strategies that are similar to wholesaling, not quite wholesaling, as one you'll hear is wholesaling. This is where you slightly fix up a property. You might paint, you might put up a new door, you might even put in new windows, and then you sell the property as is. And novation agreements. A novation agreement replaces the original contract with a new one for the retail buyer. So in other words, instead of it going seller, wholesaler, end buyer, it'll go wholesaler to end buyer, but the wholesaler still gets paid. A double close. This is where you have two purchase agreements for the same property. So you have a purchase agreement between Susie and Delisa. Then you have another purchase agreement between Delisa and John. Instead of an assignment, we do a double close. Here's why I don't like double closing. You have double closing costs. You have double closing taxes. You have double closing everything. You have to specify to the end buyer that they're paying double closing fees, because you still have, and you have to update the title price. And you, the wholesaler, you will end up on the title as once owning this house, even though it's for the same day. Even though you bought and sold it on the same day, you still will end up on title for this house. Okay? And options agreement, control a deal without buying a house. So that's where you have the option to do everything else. Now, that's it. That's all. That's really how you wholesale. However, if you want to learn how to do this and actually get guided hands-on coaching with me, you can always DM me word wholesaling, and I will be more than happy to have a little conversation with you first, because right now I do not have anything. I'm working one-on-one with everybody. I started a boot camp last night. My goal is, and I'm going to bring you guys on this journey. My goal this year was to help 20 people make 6 figures wholesaling real estate. That's the goal. Right now, I have 3 people who are over 20,000 a year so far. And that's because they either stopped, started. But we're going to get them back where it's consistent. So that's what we're getting ready to do as well. So if you are interested in joining the cohort, please reach out to me. My name is Lisa Robinson, y'all's favorite real estate real estate streets, where we are wholesaling real estate and making thousandaires, 6-figure earners. My goal is to make 20 people into 6-figure earners this year through wholesaling real estate. So if you want to be one of the 20, all you got to do is reach out to me, tap me on the shoulder, and say, hey girl, hey, I want to learn how to wholesale real estate. I want to be somebody that you work with one-on-one. Now, what do you get when you work with me one-on-one? You get me working with you one-on-one. You also get me working with you in a group setting with other wholesalers that I'm already in the process of training. You also get access to my entire wholesaling starter toolkit, which gives you the training, the workbook, the guides, the steps, and all 8 contracts that we use when we're wholesaling real estate. So if you are interested in learning how to do this and how to make money, and I will be bringing you on this journey, and I'm going to be posting some of the people and then be posting their testimonials, and I'm going to interview one of them and show short snippets of the interview so we can talk about it, because I want you guys to understand, in this economy, with this administration, you are going to need to be cash stacked. If you do not understand anything else, I don't care who you voted for. I really don't. I'm just telling you what you're going to need. You're going to need cash stacked. You're going to need resources. Your job is not going to be enough. Half of y'all's job's not even safe. Let's be real clear. Y'all not even safely in your jobs. So if I can help you 6 years this year, in addition to the job that you may or may not have in 3 to 4 6 months, why not get into it? So come on over to the side and let's get it popping. Okay? That's it. That's all. And I tell you guys all the time, you can choose to be anything you want in this world. I just hope you choose to be kind, because everybody has had someone be kind to them at least once in their life, and it's always cool to pay kindness forward. Not only does it make you a good person when you pay kindness forward, but if we all did it, make the world a much better place, and we wouldn't have to have peace talks every day. Okay? I love it. Love and like you guys a lot. This is your first time being on my live stream. Don't let it be your last. And if you've been here before, thank you for coming out and always supporting you, girl. I really appreciate it. Love and like you a lot. I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you guys tomorrow. It might be earlier in the morning, I'm thinking. Got to look at my schedule because I know tomorrow's Thursday. You know, Thursday I have coaching calls mostly on Thursdays. So I can't say yes or no if I'm going to be on in the evening because you talk to 6, 7, 8 people in a day and back to back to back to back and trying to mentally figure out what everybody is supposed to be doing. You kind of get brain tired. Okay. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for coming in, stopping in. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the comments. I appreciate you. YouTube, I will see you guys later. And Instagram and Facebook, I will see you guys as well. TikTok, thank you for coming out. And hopefully, you guys stick around. Back to, we're going to talk about some more things under wholesaling. And you're going to see, I'm going to see if I can get one of my people to come on live with me. Okay, I'll talk later. Bye-bye.